On Sunrise and streaming on crossroadstoday.com. More local school threats and an arrest follow a day after the school district's press conference over campus threats. And a government shutdown has been avoided. The details on how long the bill is set to fund procedures just ahead. Plus, the latest on the presidential candidates as the general election approaches.
And with that cool front that came through last night, we're looking at lows in the 60s for the next few nights, but with the dry air in place, we're going to be heating up a bit as we go to this weekend. And also going to the next week, we got to look at the tropics yet again. All that in the weather coming up.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning and thank you for joining us, Crossroads.
Yes, good morning, Crossroads. It is, I like to call it Friday Eve because it's Thursday.
It is Friday Eve and it is National Pancake Day. You know,
it is.
I haven't had pancakes at all this week, so maybe today is my pancake day.
Yeah, maybe it's my day as well. Maybe go get some from some places nearby.
Yeah, there's a lot of places nearby.
I know some places that got some good ones.
Could also just make it at home.
Yeah, make it at home as well. I like the chocolate chip ones, but
the first pancake is the one you throw out, I think.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, if you're all going to make any pancakes this morning, and if you're all about to step out the door, you're going to notice the second you step out the door, it's pretty nice out there right now. Not much, but a little bit cooler out there and much less humid than we've been seeing all week long. It's a little bit humid, but right now you're looking live here in Victoria, sitting at 69 degrees, and your dew point only 2 degrees off at 67, bringing humidity to 93%. That is a little bit humid, but it's a lot less humid because we got less water vapor in there with the dew point lower. So you're going to notice that when you step outside, and you're actually going to notice that dew point continue to drop all the way into tomorrow, into the 50s, and even into the 40s as we go into tomorrow. You're going to be thanking me because it's going to be feeling much more comfortable out there, even though it's going to be getting hot in the background. But looking at what's going to be controlling our weather as we go into this weekend and next week, we continue to have low pressure and high pressure above us. That's going to continue bringing us lots more sunny skies. But then as high pressure on the east coast is going to continue moving out there, we got another possible tropical system we're going to be watching down here as we go into mid and late next week, and have more details on that later on Sunrise. But today, if you're sending your kids out the door, make sure to pack them for a nice day today. I'm thinking about 90. We're going to look at that more coming up next.
The Israeli military says it has struck about 75 targets in Lebanon overnight. It struck approximately 75 terror targets belonging to the Hezbollah terrorist organization, including weapons storage facilities, ready-to-fire launchers, terrorist infrastructure. The military added that it was continuing to dismantle and degrade Hezbollah infrastructure and capabilities. At least 72 people were killed overnight Wednesday, bringing the death toll in Lebanon this week to over 630 and leaving over 2,000 wounded. Just a day after VISD held a press conference on over recent threats, Victoria County deputies worked 2 more separate school incidents Wednesday afternoon. A Victoria East High School deputy arrested a 15-year-old student. Authorities say the student made a statement to a school security officer just before 2 p.m. that he had a weapon on him. Resource deputies quickly found and detained the student. Sheriff Justin Marr says the student at East faces a felony and was transported to the juvenile detention facility. The student did not have a weapon in a separate incident. The sheriff's office responded to reported threats at STEM Middle School. The threats were received through the 911 system at around 3 in the afternoon. As a precaution, students were placed on hold at the middle school and nearby Smith Elementary. At this time, the sheriff's office reports no credible threats were found. The arrest Wednesday makes a total of 13 arrests since the beginning of the school year, which just started 6 weeks ago. Matagorda County Commissioners approved the 2025 fiscal year budget and tax rate. The new budget totals more than $32 million. The tax rate will be about 2 cents lower than the current rate. While the rate is lower, it will raise more than $2.2 million in additional revenue for the county, which is a 9.23% increase from last year's budget. The Texas Commission on Environmental Quality is considering a water use permit to divert more than 96,000 acre-feet of water per year from the Lavaca River. A public hearing was held Tuesday night in Edna on the application filed by the Lavaca Navidad River Authority, or LNRA. If approved, the permit will allow the River Authority to build and maintain a dam and reservoir that will supply water for municipal, industrial, and mining purposes in Calhoun, Jackson, Matagorda, Wharton, and Victoria counties.
Some of the potential consequences of this action would be less fresh water reaching the bay, which is our primary concern, and that has negative consequences for fisheries, for habitats, specifically oysters, oyster reef distribution and abundance.
Another person that would be impacted by the construction of a dam is Tad Mayfield, the owner of Lavaca River Ranch. He says an environmental study hasn't even been done, and damming the river could change the whole ecosystem of the river. Mayfield says stakeholders are now waiting to hear from the TCEQ on if they plan to hold a contested hearing for the permit. At Tuesday's hearing, Mayfield says no one from the public spoke in favor of the proposed dam, and most attendees that spoke were in opposition. Here are some of the top headlines you can read in the Port Lavaca Wave. A new campaign starts for a rural mental health resources hotline, and the Calhoun County Fair pageant is looking for contestants for next month's event. You can read these stories and more at theportlavacawave.com. A major government funding measure was passed by Congress Wednesday. The Senate passed the government funding bill to avoid a shutdown by a vote of 78 to 18. The measure needed 60 votes to pass. The passing of the bill comes just hours after lawmakers in the House passed the measure, which funds the government at current levels through December 20th with a vote of 341 to 82. The legislation will also provide $231 million in additional money for the Secret Service. Now we turn to the race for the White House. Vice President Kamala Harris unveiling more of her economic plan, promising tax cuts for the middle class, and says she will help first-time homebuyers.
In Vice President Kamala Harris's economic plan, she says she will cut taxes for 100 million Americans, help small businesses by increasing the startup deduction from $5,000 to $50,000, have first-time home buyer down payment assistance, and invest in manufacturing.
The most practical thing we can do right now is to cut taxes for middle-class families and individuals. And that's what we will do.
Harris slamming former President Trump for what she calls his failed policies of the past.
He's only interested in making life better for himself.
Harris later asked on MSNBC how she will pay for these proposals.
We're going to have to make sure that the biggest corporations and billionaires pay their fair share.
Trump says Harris already had 4 years to help the middle class.
Families are suffering now. So if she has a plan, she should stop grandstanding and do it.
Trump in North Carolina yesterday taking a swipe at Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, calling him probably the greatest salesman on earth.
He's making little nasty aspersions toward your favorite president, me.
It's raising questions about what support for Ukraine would look like in a Trump White House.
We continue to give billions of dollars to a man who refuses to make a deal, Zelensky. There was no deal that he could have made that wouldn't have been better than the situation you have right now.
It's still not clear who Trump wants to win the war between Russia and Ukraine. During the debate on ABC, he did not answer that question. Trump saying last night Ukraine is demolished. Perry Russom, ABC News, Washington.
And that leads us to your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code on your screen to take part. We want to know, do you think the government should help first-time home buyers? Okay, let's take a look. 47% of you say yes and 53% of you say no. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part in our viewer poll. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. The time is now 6:39 on our Thursday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up on 25 News Now Sunrise. A potential collaboration that could lead to a space for children without health insurance to receive the care they need.
Hurricane Helene taking aim at Florida, expected to make landfall tonight as a Category 4 storm. I'm Rena Roy in Tampa, and I'll have the latest coming up.
And also coming up next after the break in the full forecast, it's going to be a pretty nice day all across the state today. I'll tell you how hot I think it's going to be here in the Crossroads. But coming up later on Sunrise, we're going to continue looking at what's going on in the tropics, and we're not talking about Helene. Well, good morning, Crossroads. You're looking live in Cuero right now. Pretty nice out there this morning. As the sun's starting to come up, you can see a little bit of navy and purple in the sky right now. Pretty out there right now. But in terms of temperatures, that's also pretty out there. Right now, sitting at 69 right now in Cuero. Pretty nice out there. And your dew point 6 degrees off at 63, bringing humidity to a much more comfortable 82% out there this morning. And you're going to notice it the second y'all step out the door. And you're going to definitely notice it as we go into this weekend, as we dry up even more. We're talking dew points dropping to the 40s as we go to this weekend. Very nice weather out there this weekend. But looking at your forecast for today, temperatures today are going to be about mid 80s at noontime, much different than the 90s we were seeing at noontime this week. But in the afternoon time, I'm thinking a high of about 90 here in Victoria, while northwestern counties or everybody else, we're all going to see the upper 80s, and some also are going to be in the low 90s as well. But today's going to be just a tad bit breezy out there, especially in the morning time. Wind gusts in the morning going to be up to about 25 miles an hour at times, but that's going to start decreasing as we go to the afternoon time, with gusts in the afternoon up to 20 miles an hour at times today. So maybe if you have any really lightweight plants, maybe take those inside for just in the morning time. But today, pollen's going to continue to be very high. I've actually had bad allergies all morning, so I would recommend taking an allergy pill. High grass and ragweed pollen today, and your UV index that's going to be very high as well. All of that making it a great day to get down to the coast or go to the beach and soak up that sunshine. Slightly choppy waves out there, 1 to 2 feet out there, with your winds 10 to 15 knots out of the north, and your water's still very warm at 87 degrees. But we got lots and lots more sunshine to come all the way into next week, and we'll actually be heating up this weekend. But coming up next, we're going to continue looking at what's going on in the tropics. Carolina?
Thank you, Parker. The state of Florida is bracing for a potential major Category 3 hurricane. Hurricane Helene is forecasted to make landfall with winds just under 130 miles an hour later today.
This morning, Hurricane Helene is on track to explode into a powerful Category 4 storm before slamming into Florida today. High winds and heavy rain already hitting some areas like Marco Island. The storm first unleashing its fury on Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, flooding streets and taking down trees in Cancun, and soon expected to make landfall on the eastern part of the Florida Panhandle, with winds up to 130 miles per hour and up to 2 feet of rain expected in some areas.
We all hunker down together and we make the best of it.
In the capital city of Tallahassee, more than 200,000 in the direct path, many getting out.
I got a bad feeling about this one. Like, we've never taken that direct hit.
If our community remains central in Helene's path as forecasted, we will see unprecedented damage like nothing we have ever experienced before as a community.
Storm surge could reach 20 feet, equivalent to a 2-story building. The National Weather Service calling it catastrophic and/or potentially unsurvivable. Mandatory evacuations have been ordered in at least 20 Florida counties. Extreme measures also taken at Tampa General Hospital.
This is what's called an aqua fence, a portable barrier that officials hope will help divert floodwater away from the hospital.
A big concern, power outages, which could extend well inland.
Still a Cat 1 overnight into early Friday. That's why we're worried about trees down, and we're talking trees into homes all over Georgia and North Florida.
Officials say 18,000 linemen are already strategically staged across Florida, and more are on the way.
And Tampa's airport closed just a short time ago ahead of the hurricane, and emergencies have been declared as far north as Virginia because of flooding concerns. Rena Roy, ABC News, Tampa.
And Helene is now officially a Category 2 hurricane with 100-mile-per-hour winds. Victoria ISD is looking to explore a partnership with a local community organization to establish a student health clinic. Interim Superintendent Randy Meyer announced that Community Health Centers of South Central Texas reached out to offer a space for children without health insurance to receive medical care. If approved, the initiative would provide free health screenings, physicals, and regular checkups for children in Victoria.
If a family needs to get to the doctor to get care for their child, they'll go in just like they would any other clinic or medical center, and they'll get the care they need. They'll make appointments, they'll go in. They can also get their vaccinations.
Meyer emphasized the importance of attendance, noting numerous students are missing multiple days of school, often due to a lack of access to health care. He believes that if approved, the health center would be a significant asset to the community. The time is now 6:46 on our Thursday morning. Still to come, another death reported in a listeria outbreak linked with a popular deli meat. All right, time to celebrate some birthdays. Happy 17th birthday to Cody. Happy birthday, Cody. Grandma and Richard love you. Have a great day.
Happy birthday, Cody. And also happy birthday to Rayleigh. Happy 13th birthday, Rayleigh. We love you so much.
Happy 43rd birthday to Adolfo. Your wife and children love you so much.
Happy birthday, Adolfo. And also happy birthday to Zuri. Happy birthday, Sassy.
I think it's Zuri.
Zuri. Oh, excuse me. Zuri. Sorry about that. Happy birthday, Zuri. And happy birthday, Sassy. We love you. Hope you have a fantastic day. All of that from Mom, JJ, Elias, Gigi, and DMO.
Happy birthday to Raquel. Happy birthday to my best friend and favorite person in the world. I love you, Mama. Hope you have the best day.
Oh, happy birthday, Raquel. And also happy birthday to Anne-Brie. Happy 17th birthday to Anne-Brie Day. Hope you have an amazing day today. We love you from Mom, Dad, and Everett.
Happy birthday to tennis superstar Serena Williams. Does that mean it's Venus's birthday today, too?
There you go, Carolina.
She was 43 today.
Happy birthday, Serena. And a special birthday shout out to Camilla. Happy 5th birthday from Dad. And to see your birthday wish live on 25 News Now Sunrise, come to crossroadstoday.com, click the drop-down menu, then click the Home tab, and then you'll see Submit Your Birthday Photo.
Okay, the time is now 6:47 on our Thursday morning. Happy birthday to Doug. Hope y'all have a great day.
Happy birthday, Doug, and happy birthday if you're celebrating with us today. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, good morning, Crossroads. If you're tuning in with us this morning, I'm sure a lot of y'all are still wondering what's going on out there in the tropics because we got a little bit of activity starting to form out there. But I'm going to start out with Helene. I'm only going to spend a few moments here on Helene because you can see Helene's going towards Florida, but it is going to be going towards Florida. It is as a very devastating hurricane. If you have any family or friends over there in Florida, make sure that they know they have got a gigantic, very devastating storm coming their way very soon. But like you heard Carolina just say just a couple moments ago, it's official. Helene is now officially a Category 2 hurricane with winds right now sustained at 100 miles an hour, 5 miles an hour above the Category 2 threshold. But you're going to see that it's still expected to make landfall in Florida tonight, somewhere in the Big Bend areas, either tonight or tomorrow morning, early tomorrow morning, as a Category 3 hurricane with winds sustained over 110 miles an hour and storm surge. That's going to be between 15 to 20 feet. We're talking 15 to 20 feet of ocean water that is coming up onto the coast. Very, very dangerous situation for them and Florida. But for us in Texas and us in the Crossroads, I'm going to continue watching this little area right here, all courteous of this tropical wave that is entering the Caribbean right now as we speak. And I'm thinking if there is any development, it's going to happen between next Wednesday through next Saturday of next week. So keep up to date with that. We're going to keep on watching that all the way through next week. But looking at the rest of the tropics, we do have Tropical Storm Isaac out there that just formed recently. Winds right now sustained at 50 miles an hour. Good news is none of this stuff is coming our way at all. But what I'm looking at is what you're looking at actually is the Cover Prediction Center's outlook, and they also have chances at 40 to 60% over the next week. And we're taking a look at that more coming up later on Sunrise. Carolina?
Thank you, Parker. A New York man has died from a listeria infection tied to a recalled deli meat from Boar's Head. That makes the 10th death in the outbreak that has seen 59 people hospitalized in 19 states. The CDC says that number could be large since it takes several weeks for symptoms to appear. Boar's Head has taken a number of steps as it tries to recover from the outbreak. The company discontinued all of its liverwurst products and also permanently closed the Virginia plant where the meat was contaminated. The start of the holiday shopping season is more than a month away, and online spending is expected to break records. A new report from Adobe Analytics says shoppers are projected to spend $241 billion online this year. That's up 8% from last year. More than half of online sales will be electronics, apparel, furniture, and home goods. Sales analysts also project total retail sales, both in person and online, will grow around 3% during the last 3 months of the year. Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. A federal agency is working to keep businesses from misusing AI. The Federal Trade Commission is cracking down on businesses that use deceptive artificial intelligence to lure customers. In a new law enforcement sweep, Operation AI Comply, the FTC took action against companies it said used AI to trick mislead, or defraud. The alleged scheme included the use of an AI tool that enabled customers to create fake reviews, advertising for the world's first AI lawyer, and AI-assisted e-commerce businesses, all of which are illegal, failed to deliver and defrauded consumers of millions of dollars. The Justice Department's report on the agency's handling of the January 6th attack on the Capitol likely won't be released until after the election. The department's Inspector General Michael Horowitz told a House subcommittee Wednesday there is a draft of the report. However, he doubts it would be released in time for the election. He went on to say he hopes it will be completed before the inauguration set for January 20th. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is scheduled to visit the White House today. He's expected to make an in-person plea to President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. It could be his final chance to convince a receptive American president of his country's war aims. Details are unknown, except that Zelensky will meet separately with Biden and then with Harris. People familiar with Zelensky's plan say it includes asking Biden's permission to fire Western-provided long-range weapons deeper into Russian territory. A suspect is in custody following an explosion at a Santa Maria courthouse. The explosion occurred shortly after the court opened for business Wednesday morning. Authorities say the explosion was from an intentionally set improvised explosive device. 6 people were injured after the 20-year-old suspect tossed a backpack that exploded at a security screening area of the courthouse. The explosion left the courthouse filled with smoke as authorities scrambled to find and hold the suspect down outside. New York City Mayor Eric Adams is expected to face federal charges by prosecutors out of the Southern District of New York as soon as today, according to 2 sources familiar with the matter. In a statement released Wednesday, Mayor Adams said, quote, "I always knew that if I stood my ground for New Yorkers that I would be a target, and a target I became. If I am charged, I am innocent, and I will fight this with every ounce of my strength and spirit." The New York Times is now reporting federal agents searched his residence this morning as prosecutors are expected to announce his charges today. And we want to invite you to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. Just search for Crossroads Today Plus. Let's go ahead and get a look at a beautiful sunrise over Port Lavaca with Parker.
That's right, Carolina. Look at this pretty sunrise. We got a nice and clear sunrise this morning, all thanks to that cool front that we had yesterday, drying our atmosphere and our surface up right now. In fact, if you're walking out the door this morning, you're going to notice, look, it just updated for me, very pretty pink and yellow skies out there. But if you're walking out the door this morning, you're going to notice it's a little bit drier out there this morning after that front came through. In fact, look at the temperatures all across the state. We got some 80s in the forecast, but down here, we're still in the 90s. Some of us might be in the upper 80s, but look at your lows. We're still in the 60s, while North Texas, they're going to be in the 50s for the low temperatures tonight. But going into tomorrow, we're going to start heating up and going into this weekend as well. 93 and some more back in the low and mid 90s as we go into this weekend. But look a little closer to home. I'm thinking 89 today with lots of sunshine in Port Lavaca, and maybe about 90 here in Victoria. Lots and lots of sunshine as well. And we're going to be about mid 80s at noontime. And in Cuero, I'm thinking 89 today. Also lots and lots of sunshine all day long. And if you like that sunshine, we've got lots more of it to come our way all the way into next week. And thanks to that drier air, we're going to be heating right back up to the mid and upper 90s by this weekend.
More heat, Parker.
More heat.
in
That's
store
right.
for us, and no precipitation.
And no precipitation, unfortunately. Yep.
Oh, dang it. Well, thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful Thursday. Remember to follow us on our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today, and join Shauna, Dawn, Mac, and Max for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10. Make it a great Thursday. And here's a look at some live footage as Helene approaches Florida. Oh, we'll have it actually later on our YouTube channel then.
That's right.
Have a great rest of your Thursday.